Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakakodash, and give a double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect that are scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. To you, I say Shalom. All right, and this popped up in my recommendation feed, God Logic. I don't know, I never really watched, I don't think I've ever watched a video on this page, but when I clicked on it, I listened to the first couple minutes of it, and this is not addressing God Logic. All right, he's a Christian. He's heard the gospel. He's heard the word. He doesn't believe. All right, the scriptures say, what did the Lord say? Matter of fact, let me find it real quick. You don't want to butcher it. Luke 9:5. All right, it says, and whosoever will not receive you when ye go out of that city, shake off the very dust from your feet for a testimony against them. All right, so if these people don't receive us, they didn't listen to us, they don't believe in what we got to say, it is what it is. Okay? So we shook the dust off our feet with these Christians, and they still want to deal with us, right? But like I say, the point of this video is not for the Christians. We're not, the Christians have already heard what we had to say, right? But when you Hebrew Israelites, this is for you Hebrew Israelites, all right? And a lot of some of you guys are proud, all right? And you weren't taught the proper way how to deal with these Christians, as far as because the best way to deal with a Christian is just to go into prophecy, right? They have no idea about prophecy. They're lost. They're confused. They do not know about end time prophecy. You just take them in deep waters, all right? But the point of this video is when he read Revelation 5, all right? Words have meaning. Words have meanings. All right. So when these Christians pull these scriptures, you gotta go to the meaning of these words, because if you're gonna deal with them, don't allow them to just handle you a certain type of way. All right. And Elder Yashar Wamba, he made a video about Captain Tazariak dealing with these Christians. You guys are not properly dealing with these Christians, man. You're letting them say anything. You're not defending the word the right way.
His feet. Who the enemies? You're going to put all the enemies of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushai under a Mashiach Yahushai's feet. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So you got enemies. Right? And they're named as nations in Psalms 83rd chapter.
Yeah.
You know about that?
Of course. Of course. So there are some nations that are against God and his people, but then there are other nations that are not against God and his people.
I'm asking.
Okay, now he's saying that he just admitted that there are some nations that are against God. Well, what nations are there that are against God? The Bible tells you what nations are against God in Psalms 83. Okay, and you brothers, when they open their mouth, you got to get them. You got to go into these words. You got to go into these Christians. They don't know the Bible.
The question: what nation?
And when I saw this video, I was like, damn, man. Damn. This should be this should be a snack for you brothers. Like a lion. You know? This should be a young gazelle. You know, you should be licking your chops when these Christians walk up, man. You know, if you're going to deal with them. We were commanded, we were ordered not to deal with them. But for you other brothers in those camps, if you're going to deal with these Christians, man, you got to get them.
are keeping the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High.
Yeah, those are the ones who are within the Abrahamic faith, which are the ones who have
you keep saying faith. I'm talking about.
No, I'm trying to answer you.
Oh.
Yeah, so the ones who keep the faith in the Messiah, right, and they are under the law of faith, they are the ones who are holding up the law of God and the law of the Messiah.
And first of all, he mentioned the law, statutes, commandments. The Christians don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Right? Vocab Malone said you could eat an ill. Right? So these people have no standing ground. Right? He's asking, you got to put these people on trial. Ask him about the rapture doctrine. All right? Ask him what happened. I thought Jesus was supposed to come back September 23rd. What's going on with that?
This is why I say when you talk about rulership, I'm glad you bring that up, because if we go to Revelation,
and he talking about rulership, ask him about the throne of David. And what did David do when he was in rulership? Ask him what the throne of David is and who's going to sit on that throne. And what did David do when he was on his throne, and who's going to sit on David's throne in the kingdom? And what is he going to do? The person that's going to sit on his throne.
5, for example, talking about kingdom, I'm going to just read this really quick. In Revelation chapter 5, it tells us who gets that rulership and who gets that kingdom.
Now, he's right. Revelation 5 does tell you who's going to get that rule. Right? And this is why, and if you brothers don't, you other brothers in those other camps, you only know what you've been taught, you know. But this is why you got to come under the right leadership. Words. Get into the words. Words.
Right? And so in Revelation 5, let's go down to around verses. Here we go. Revelation 5. Here it is. Verse 9, it says, "And they sang a new song, saying, Worthy are you to take the scroll and to open its seals, because you were slain and purchased for God with your blood." So how are we purchased? How are we saved? By the blood of Christ, by the blood of the Lamb. Okay. And he says, with your blood, people from every tribe, every tongue, nation, and people. And you...
Okay, now for face value, it might look like what he's saying, you know what? Christ did die for everybody. But go into the word. Go into the words. Go into the words. Go into the words. All right. Revelation 5:9. "And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof." Who did that? Yahweh Shai. "For thou wast slain and has redeemed us to the Most High." Who is us? The Israelites. Right? Gonna explain. "Redeemed us to the Most High by the blood, out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation." Who is he talking about? Out of every kindred. Who is every kindred? Who is that? You have to go into the word. The word kindred is what? Phule. Phule, a tribe, a nation of people in the New Testament. All the persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. Those are the Israelites. So who has redeemed us by the blood? Who is that? What kindred? It's the Israelites. It's the Israelites. It's not talking about everybody. Why? Because it says, "in tongue and people and nation," because we were scattered through all people. We were scattered. The Israelites are only going to be verse 10, "and has made us unto our power kings and priests." What? There were no heathen priests. of the Most High. There are no heathen kings of the Most High. So now he's just going to create a new thing. The heathens are never promised anything regarding being a king and a priest in the kingdom of heaven. That's just not there. Now, after they serve their captivity, then they are going to live peacefully on earth. You know, we're going to be, you know, we're going to be cordial with the other nations. We're not just going to beat them forever. The Edomites will be done away with. Yeah, but the other nations are going to go to their lands and they're going to live. All right, and that's a form of salvation. That is a form of salvation. Drinking clean water is a form of salvation. Eating clean food is a form of salvation. Living under the Israelites, okay, being under them, like every kingdom has a hierarchy of people. You have the upper class and you got the lower class. Every kingdom has that. Well, in this kingdom, the Israelites are the lowest class. In the kingdom of heaven, the Israelites will be the upper echelon of people. Every kingdom has that. And it's like when it comes to the kingdom of heaven, now everything's just going to be, everybody's just going to be on one equal playing field. No.
Made them, who? The kingdom, you made them, every tribe, every nation, every people. You made them to be a kingdom and priests to our God, and they will reign on the earth forever. So it's not just Israelites, but the kingdom that have that.
And that's why you got to go into words. Kindred, meaning Israelites, right? Boom. That's an easy cut right there. And he's praying that you don't go into that blue letter. He's praying.
Rulership is made up of all types of nations within this kingdom.
So you would think that
no, rulership is not made up of all people, right? Who rules this kingdom? Edomites. The Edomites run this kingdom, and he's sitting there acting like a kingdom is ruled by everybody. No, it's not. Just because you're a billionaire does not mean you rule. The bankers, the elites, the Edomites, they rule this kingdom. They get to say what you can do and what you can't do. They get to tell you put a mask on and shut up and shut the whole world down. Who had the power to shut the whole world down? Edomites. Who were the people you saw in a campaign around the whole earth telling you to put a mask on and take the jab? It was Edomites, Fauci, Bill Gates. All right, the servants of the elites. Let's not see him play games, man.
Revelation 7 and 9, it says a great multitude will represent all nations, right?
Of course.
You would think that, right?
That's what it says.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily true.
So what about
because
this?
when you deal with that,
you see, you say that's not necessarily true. It's not true. That's why you got to go into these words. You got to go into the words. Words have meanings. And he's praying you don't go into the blue letter. I know he is.
when you're dealing with that, even when it says, what was that, Revelation what?
Revelation 5, yeah, 5, 9 to...
What Bible are you reading from?
You know, and I ain't get upset, or I just kind of say, you know, well, if any, you know, you brothers know about Revelation 5, you got to address that. You know?
This is LSB. You can use KJV. It's okay if you want that. Mm-hmm. But 9 and 10, Revelation 5, verse 9 and 10. Says that the kingdom is made up of all types of nations.
Yes, the kingdom will be made up of all type of nations, but they are not going to rule with us. After their punishment, they're going to go back to their lands. They're going to go back to their lands after they serve their punishment. Yes, there will be Ammonites in the kingdom, Moabites in the kingdom. All right, Ham. Yes, these other nations will be there. Yes, after they serve their punishment. The same way this kingdom is made up of all type of people. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they get the rule. They're not going to be kings. They're not going to be priests. They're not going to receive ultimate salvation, which is eternal life. No, that's not what that means. Okay, because you Christians don't understand what true salvation is. You don't understand what the kingdom of heaven is going to be. What does that entail? They don't know. Okay? They just don't know. Salvation is being saved from your enemies. Okay? Which they will not receive that because they are the enemies. Salvation is getting a new body, being saved from the destruction. Okay? Any heathen living in America, when the missiles drop, they're going to be destroyed. They can believe in Jesus all they want. They were not given that promise. They were not given the promise of getting a new body, of sinning no more. That's just not there for them.
Every nation. So that would include...
And you got to deal with the every nation. He keeps saying every nation, trying to trip you guys up. Knowing that Israelites are scattered in every nation.
The us is not everybody. Us to the Most High. That's not the us. Is not to everyone. It says redeemed.
You said us is not everybody, but prove it. And you can prove it in that chapter. You can prove it literally in that chapter. That the us is not talking about everybody. That the kindred is not talking about the whole world. It's talking about the sons of Jacob. And you could prove that instead of talking. Use the words, you Hebrew Israelites. Use the words. Go into the words.
Us.
That is everybody.
It is?
Yeah, because these same people were the ones who, look, it says, because you were slain and purchased for God with your blood, people from every tribe.
Acts 5, 27.
You see? But that's my point. All right? Rightly divide the word of truth, man. You see, this Christian was allowed to come up here and do this, and you guys up there fumbling, man. Look at this.
Look, it says, because you were slain and purchased for God with your blood, people from every tribe.
Acts 5, 27, 30 and 31.
Wait, before you jump there, brother, do you see how it says that you purchased with your blood people from every tribe, nation, people, and tongue? So everyone.
There's a reason why I'm saying that. Because we were scattered among all nations. I got to show you that, read.
Acts 5 and 30. The most high power of our fathers.
Of our fathers. Who was that? Who the power? Who's our fathers? Who the power? Who? Who the most high the power of?
The forefathers. The Israelites? Is that
of our fathers?
Yeah.
Who the power of? Who the most high the power of? He said the power of our fathers.
Yeah, I just said that.
Who was that?
Those
the power of who?
He said those are the forefathers of the Israelites.
No. Get who's the power of our fathers?
Wait, stay right there. Is it
Exodus?
You know, but you know, whatever, man. You know, you Israelites, y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do anyway. But use the words, man. All right, if you're gonna deal with these antichrists, you know, they're very simple. They shouldn't be up there. You know, this is easy work. It should be easy work, man. It's a Christian. With that, shalom.